Remember when people used to only shoot videos like this? You were thinking, flip the phone around. All right, guys, welcome back to another video. It's your man, Jay Will. So Apple has done right by us as far as hardware goes over the years. They've produced some pretty good hardware and some premium feeling devices. And I don't think it's any exception with this phone right here. This is my kind of 2 week, little past 2 weeks iPhone 10 follow-up. I hate to call things reviews now because, well, I'm going to always come back to it. So we're going to talk about how this device has been doing. And obviously, this will be the one more detailed, strict by the rules, letting you know what's going on with the phone. So let's start with what I consider an important feature of a device, and that's hardware. Now, the hardware on the phone is good. I'll take off my Berkeley case. Shout out to Berkeley here for a premium leather case. Gotta love it. So the hardware on here is actually really good. I don't find myself missing the home button like I thought I would, because let's be clear, Apple took the home button away, and it's kind of one of those things that you think you're going to miss it. And some people, if you're not open to change, you probably will miss it. But I don't miss the hardware. But other than that, this is premium hardware to me. This is stellar hardware. The stainless steel look around the sides and everything and it feels super premium. They've upgraded the speakers to be really loud coming from this little phone. And I can say that it's true because I have the other iPhone, so I know that it's a lot louder. But I just think the silver version looks much more premium than the space gray version. That's personal preference, but overall itself, the build quality of the phone is actually really stellar. It's actually really, really good. And I don't have any complaints about the hardware itself. But what I do have a complaint with is the slipperiness, because I'm forced to wear a case in most times, and I don't really want to cover up this beautiful piece of hardware when I go out. But when I'm around the house, okay, I don't wear a case, but I was headed out, so yeah. But it's slippery. So I do have something coming to help with that, and I'll show you that in another video. But the hardware on here, to me, is a 10. The hardware is top tier. And if you don't think so, that's totally up to you. I respect that, but the build quality on this phone is top tier. It's right in line with the Essential phone, the U11. It's premium feeling phones. It just feels really premium, and I really like that. The glass back, I don't know if I'm that big of a fan of it, but it's there, and this is the direction that people are going with and companies are going with, because people wanted wireless charging, so you can't have it with a metal back. So in turn, you have to deal with these glass backs or plastic, if anything. So hardware on here, I think it's really good, top tier. I don't have a complaint. So you see me do the face unlock there. The screen on here is Apple's first stab at an AMOLED display, and I think that they did a good job at it. And I'm saying that because I know they didn't make this screen. I know it's a Samsung display, or a screen, I should say. But it's good, folks. I mean, you can't customize it pretty much like you can do an Android phone. So I'm not talking about in that manner. I'm talking about like the quality of the screen. It's actually really good. Now, can I see a big difference from a 1080p display with the Apple phones? Nah, because I have the same layout. There's nothing different. So it's just the way the iPhones are done. You don't get like this, you can't really tell as much when I'm watching videos and things like that. Obviously, yeah, that's a huge plus. But other than that, I just see an iPhone screen and the quality of it. Now, I don't get so far as you see some videos digging in, getting into the text, and it's sharper here. I don't look at my phone like that, so I'm not going to review it like that. I'm going to just review it as is. Now, the resolution on this screen is 1125 by 2436. Apple always has these crazy dimensions and pixels. It's weird, but the screen on here, a lot of people have, speaking of the screen, I think it's a great screen. And I don't see much difference from my other iPhones, but I do see when I'm watching movies and things, it's super clear. It's an AMOLED display, and the blacks are deeply black on here, and they just look really, really good on this phone. And Now, when it comes to the display, so many people have harped on the panel at the top here, which houses the extra cameras and things like that, and sensors for the Face ID. Uh, it is what it is, folks. I mean, it's just like the Nexus 6P. When I first saw that phone, I was like, oh, it's hideous. And I kind of said the same thing about this phone. But once you get it in your hand and you start using it, some people have said, oh, I don't see how other reviewers can say that you don't notice it. Well, I don't even pay attention to it. It's not something that I'm harping on because it's the obvious. There's a big elephant standing in the corner over there. I can see it. I'm not going to keep bothering it. You know what I'm saying? Get over it, is what I'm saying. Get over it. If you, especially for the people that don't have the phone, if you don't have the phone, get over it. Get past it. Let it go. The people that have it, if you're enjoying it and it doesn't bother you, great. You know, enjoy your phone. For the people that have it and it bothers them, hopefully you'll get over it. Hopefully you'll get past it and you'll find a workaround. There are applications to make that go away, but let me tell you something here. This is kind of the signature, one of the signature things about the phone, and I'm not going to take it away. That's how I personally feel about it. I'm not going to work to take this so-called notch away, eyebrow, some people call it. I'm just going to let it go. I'm going to leave it alone. This is just what it is. You know, this is just what it is, and I'm not harping on that anymore. So the display is good. Speakers on this thing, like I've said, are really loud. Let me see if I can fire up some music here. God, I'll talk about that in a little bit. Gonna get one of those ones that auto turn around. I'm gonna have to get one of those, do it on its own. So audio on here, in my opinion, is actually really good. I don't have a complaint about the audio. The speakers on here, and that's just a music track. But when you're listening to like a movie, it depends on the bit rate of the audio. Like if I'm listening to high quality audio, that's not high quality audio. That's just a track that I use for my YouTube videos. And the name of that track is called Heartbreak, as you can see. So people ask about that. What I do when I have a YouTube, every year I'll try to switch it up and keep one song for at least 6 months or 3 months or so. And this is the track that I'm using right now for most of my videos, and I really like it. It's smooth, it's jazzy, it can pretty much play out in any video. So there you go. It's called Heartbreak. Now, the audio quality coming from these dual speakers, it does have the speaker at the bottom and it has the speaker inside the earpiece. It is loud, folks. I mean, you got to test it out for yourself. I think you'll be really impressed at what you see or hear, coming from this phone. Feature set, I guess for the iPhone now, let me show you one feature that I've used this. I'll go into it here. So you go to settings and you go down to general, and then you go to accessibility, and then you scroll down to assistive touch, and then you turn this assistive touch on, and you can customize all these. Now you see a little button popped up. That's my home button. I decided to use this as a home button. You can actually move this around the screen. I think this is very intuitive. It's really nice. I don't have a complaint about it. Some people immediately, when they got their iPhone, they realized it didn't have a home button. They were like, oh, this doesn't have a home button, you know. But it's totally up to you. You can obviously add a home button. And there it is. So you can go in here and customize all these. Obviously, I have it to a single tap. But you can do it. You can add it for anything, man. You can look at all these options you have here. So when people say that the iPhones can't be customized, it might be a thing of, okay, so I'm not really willing to dig into the operating system to find out if it can be customized. So doing a little bit of research, you see that there's tons of things that you can do and program this little button here. You can also do a double tap. I mean, you can do a long press, a 3D touch. There's just endless, things you can do with the accessibility assistive touch. I didn't do a separate video on that. Maybe I should have, or maybe I will. I don't know. But you can definitely go in and add. And so as far as features go, The iPhone definitely has some mild features, not as advanced as Android, obviously, but it does have a few features. Now, one feature it does have, obviously, is the Face ID, the Face Unlock. It's just something that's there. They've changed to gestures now when you swipe down from that side, and you have all these different things in here. You can customize the control center, and on this side, you get your notifications. So it's a matter of, it seems like people follow the trend to say that, uh-oh, bumpy cam, I gotta give you one. People follow the trend to say that people who use iPhones like things simple. Well, I still disagree with that because I think Android follows the same characteristics with icons. It's just that with Android, I can put an icon in the corner by itself if I wanted to. Apple, all in sync, all in order. You know, I'm a military vet, so order. I guess that's the only thing I can think of. So when you think of an iPhone, some people say, oh, it's easy, it's simple, it's simplistic. That's just their personal way of saying, I like the phone, or I like the setup, or I like iOS and how it runs, I would say. But features and options, there may not be a lot on this phone, but there's enough, you know? So it's enough to keep an iPhone user pleased, I guess I'll say. So with that being said, one of the main things about this phone is the cameras. Now, Apple decided to use a dual camera setup for this phone and on the rear, and I think they did absolutely great with this. I shot some videos with this phone on the channel, and some of you guys said, wow, you know, you might have thought it was the U11, but it was actually this phone right here. I was testing it out, and you know, it's really good. I've learned that 4K at 60 frames per second is cool, but 1080p at 60 frames per second is just as cool. So it's just one of those things where, you know, I have the ability to shoot at 4K at 60 frames per second. Will I do it a lot? Probably yes, for personal footage, but not for YouTube. It's just what it is. I mean, you will see 4K at 60 frames per second videos, obviously, but you won't see as many as you might think as excited I was at the beginning. Obviously having that with the iPhone 8 Plus and the iPhone 8. And the 10 obviously has it. The excitement wears off, and after the hype, that's where we are. So the cameras on here, stellar footage, are top notch. Nah, not top notch. I mean, let me back up. The rear cameras are stellar. They produce some fantastic footage. The front camera is not top notch, but really, really good. I mean, the cameras on this device are good. Let's just kind of see it for what it is. If you're going to do a review on a phone, you have to be neutral across the board for every phone that you have that you're reviewing. You have to stick to some kind of routine. So the cameras on here, they're doable, man. They're really good. You know, that's just what it is. Software-wise, you hear the long pause. Software-wise, this is it. This is it. This is what you get. You get the same layout. Again, they've upgraded some features. They've added things like animojis for iMessenger. You can now send money, and you can send Starbucks through iMessenger. You can send Apple Pay through iMessenger. That is not available yet. Apple needs to come on with that. I'm kind of waiting on that because I want to send money to family members through Apple Pay, and it's not available yet. So I hate when companies announce things and they wait months to release it. Just don't tell us. You know, that's what I feel about it. Like product releases with this phone, you know, I was pretty perturbed at the beginning when I found out I had to wait 3 months to get this phone. So my first video was why you probably shouldn't wait on the iPhone 10. But, you know, this phone right here, the software, it's Apple software. It's an iPhone user's dream to have a full screen like this. You get all the icons. You get what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 rows. You know, and then you got the bottom row. You know, it's more of a upgrade as far as the gestures, but after that, it's just an iPhone. How's battery life been on here for me? Battery life has been stellar, like really, really good. Now the battery in this thing is 2,716 milliamps. This phone has 3 gigs of RAM, dual 12 megapixels on the back, a 5.8-inch AMOLED display. I'm not going to call it a Quad HD display because it actually is 1125 by 2436, so it got this different resolution, even though the content can be played in 1440p. Yeah, technically on paper, I don't think that it is. But you do have water resistance. The screen is Dolby HDR compliant. You got that wide color gamut, True Tone. Let me make sure True Tone is off. I do not like True Tone, man. Do you guys like True Tone? I don't like True Tone. There it is, it's off. I do not like the True Tone display. I think it looks horrible. This has the Apple A11 chip. They're calling it Bionic. I don't buy into all that. It's just a name. It's a fast chip. It's a hexa-core 2.39 gigahertz processor. And then you have the Apple GPU, which is really nice. It's got 3 cores. This comes in a 64 and a 256 gig. And it's good. You know, it's got stereo speakers, Bluetooth 5.0. A lot of people don't talk about Bluetooth 5.0, but it does have Bluetooth 5.0. And it's good. It's got fast charging. Unfortunately, you have to pay. You don't have to. You can go ahead and get an iPad charger for $20 and you got fast charging, or you can jump on Amazon and use your same cord, your same lightning cable, and buy a 29 watt power brick, and you're going to charge fast, just as fast. There's a video out where someone's comparing the iPad charger to the Apple fast charger, and the only difference was 10 minutes, I believe it was. Totally not worth it. So with that being said, if you watch this review all the way through, this phone is not without flaws. The first flaw is the price. This phone costs $1,000 and the 256 gig costs $1,149. Now, this is not including tax. So with taxes, this came to $1,081 and like 65 cents for me, I think it was. And the 256 gig model came to $1,244.36. Now, before you shake a leg at that and say, oh my God, all these people out here just keep saying, oh, it's not worth it, it's not worth it. Listen, there are a ton of other phones out there. I've said it before, any phone that's over $350 to $400 is not worth it. None of these phones are worth it. I have plenty of phones that rival this phone in certain areas and are better in certain areas that cost less. Let's get over this price thing as far as griping about it, because if you bought it, you bought it. So live with it. If you didn't buy it, go sit in the corner and take a time out, because you're probably never going to buy it. Your phone might cost $30. So stay in that lane and don't criticize the people so much, so hard that are willing to spend the money, because I don't believe in the term so much you got to pay to play. I think we're getting played to pay. They're playing us by making us pay $1,000 for this phone. And really all we're getting is a hardware bump. We're getting a hardware bump. That is it, folks. A hardware bump. You very well can keep your iPhone 7 Plus, your iPhone 6s Plus. Heck, your iPhone SE is a good purchase. And I'm talking to Apple people. You can keep don't upgrade your phone if you don't have to, folks. Don't give the money up if you don't have to. Now, if anybody I've heard some people say, well, even I've said it, depending on what generation you're in, like as far as iPhones, like 6, 5, you might want to consider an update. But you don't have to. If your phone, and not for iPhones, but if anybody has a phone and it's working, you're probably not even thinking about buying an upgrade. So don't upgrade. Keep what you have. The price on this phone is overpriced. We already know this. Again, there's a huge elephant standing in the corner over there with a pink hat on. We see it. All right? We see it. The price is not correct. And the price is not correct on the Galaxy Note. And the price is not correct on, what else? I got this. The Essential phone, they fixed that. What are the phones? The U11 is teetering on borderline, but that price is really good at $599. Let me see what else I got in here. The U Ultra's price was overpriced, but they fixed that with an update. They gave that up. The S8, the S8 Plus, anything over freaking $350 to $400 is not worth it. Done. Now, another flaw that this phone has, if you can see there, I took a screenshot. I don't like, oh boy, this is a point where I pop up an emoji and say, I don't like that this phone keeps taking freaking screenshots. Listen, this phone takes screenshots with power up and volume, or power and volume up. It's horrible. I could be putting on a case or something, or taking a case off, or just like I was trying to do the music earlier, and it takes a freaking screenshot. Ugh. Man, that gets on my nerves. I had to go out and clear out my phone of so many screenshots. It's horrible. Like, it's bad. It just takes a screenshot. It's so sensitive. Now, I'm sure somebody's going to come in the comments and say, yo, Jay, you don't even know how to use your own phone, man. You go into the settings and you click on the bling and you do. Well, just tell me in the comments how to make it not so sensitive, because I haven't figured that out yet. And honestly, I haven't been trying. I've just been using my phone. Again, $1,081 and like 60 something cents. Apple, how about you do a double screenshot with these two buttons only or something? Another thing I don't like is the way you use the buttons. Like double click for Apple Pay is cool. Long press for Siri. Siri pops up all the time. Again, you accidentally hit this button too long, it's a wrap. Here comes Siri, and then you take your phone out of your pocket. You got a long list of things. I don't do that. I don't know how to do that. I'm not ready for that. And all this is crazy, man. And a screenshot of that, you know? A screenshot of all the commands and stuff. You didn't even know your phone was going off. That's not good, Apple. It's not good. I know you could have thought of a better way to implement this by simply putting the fingerprint reader in the Apple logo. But we've heard that before. All right. The button layout, to power it on, you just hold the power button. To power it off, you hold up or down on the volume with the power button. To take a screenshot, you do up and power button. What's another gesture here? Long press, again, like I said, for Siri. Double click for Apple Pay. Apple Pay is really cool on this phone, by the way. I was using Apple Pay at Best Buy. I was buying the Apple Watch. I think, and the guy was like, wow, how do you do Apple Pay on there? You've got the 10. I was like, just use the Face ID and then just touch the thing. He's like, whoa. Yeah, I think he had like an iPhone 7 Plus or something. I don't know what it was, but yeah, Apple Pay on here is really cool. But just getting used to the gestures. Some people say, oh, it just don't take 2 minutes, Jay. You's crazy. Man, well, that's you. You know, I mean, I do phone reviews and I have like 4 phones on me at all times, and I'm taking my time. I'm running at a slow pace. I'm learning as I go. And it took me a little while to get used to. I learned how to do the gestures quick. Oh, yeah. I learned how to do these gestures really fast. However, it's going to take some time to get used to for me. And so it took me a day or two to get used to it. Now I'm swiping on every phone. I pick up I pick up a phone, be swiping from the bottom. I'm like, what the heck? Why am I swiping? I'm swiping on every freaking phone, man. It's crazy. I don't know. You see that there? I don't know. But, the gestures, it took me a little bit to get used to it, but I learned them fast. But it took me a second to get used to it. I don't like that the phone keeps taking screenshots. I don't like the price. I don't like the configuration of the buttons for simple things, I digress. This phone is a good phone. Would I recommend it? I'll recommend it to iPhone users. I wouldn't recommend it to an Android user who's trying to convert. I've seen some videos where people saying, oh, I ditched my Galaxy Note. I don't believe those videos. I'm just going to be real here for a second. I don't believe these people. They did that just to get the view out there. That's, at least, I shouldn't be so harsh, but it appears that they did those videos just to get the views out there because the iPhone is really popular. Let's be honest here. It's a popular phone. So I don't see a person who's been with Android, who's had every Galaxy Note switching to an iPhone. Come on, man. Come on now. Come on, son. I don't see that happening. And when I see those videos, I'm just laughing. I'm like, yeah, okay. But I don't recommend this phone to Android users who have been pro Android for their entire season. I don't recommend it. I recommend this phone to Apple users. And if you are an Android user, get an iPhone 7 Plus and start there, or get an Apple iPhone 8 Plus and start there. It'll be a good switch for you if you're switching from a big Android phone. If you're switching from a small Android phone, get an 8 or 7. So I do recommend this phone to Apple users who are in older generations, I guess, at this point, and you seriously need to upgrade. You're walking around with a cracked screen on a 4S. Don't shout out to Aunt Night Tech, who's constantly trolling me on my stream. I don't recommend that you stay with those older generations because you're missing out on some great performance. Now, you're going to pay a hefty price, so don't do like us and pay full cost. Finance it. If you can finance it, finance it. If you got good credit, just go straight through Apple and do Apple financing. If you have a good credit card, 0 interest rate. A lot of us have 0 interest rate credit cards, or a lot of us just pay cash. I have both. But you pick and choose how you want to spend your money. But I do recommend this iPhone. This is the best iPhone that you can possibly get. And that is my opinion on it. It's your man, Jay Will. Full review on the iPhone 10. I like it.